today we're going to be working on this really cute and functional basket of flowers coaster set. I will link the written pattern down in the description if you'd like to grab it. I will say I'm making the basket for this video tutorial a little bit different from the written pattern, so just keep that in mind. For this project, I'm going to be using worsted weight acrylic yarn in green, pink, or whatever color you'd like to use for your flower, brown or another color for your basket, and white. I highly suggest using a cotton yarn if you're going to be using your coasters functionally, like with hot cups, but I'm going to be using acrylic just because mine are more decorative, but that is totally up to you. I'm also going to be using a 4mm hook and a pair of scissors. So to get started, we're going to make a magic ring. You can do this by wrapping the yarn around your fingers like this, cross it over, then we're going to hook under the first strand and grab the second and pull it through to make a loop. And we're going to put our hook through the loop and twist to make a slip knot. And I like to grab that so it doesn't come undone. And now we're going to chain 2. So grab the yarn, pull it through the loop, there's 1 chain, grab the yarn and pull it through, there's 2 chains, and this will count as a stitch. So we're going to need 12 double crochets total into our magic ring, so this will count as 1 double crochet. So now let's make those 11 extra double crochets into our magic ring. To make a double crochet, we're going to yarn over, insert the hook into the magic ring, grab our working yarn and pull up a loop. Now we have 3 loops on our hook. Grab the yarn and pull through 2 of those loops. Grab the yarn again and pull through the last 2 loops. And that is 1 double crochet. So now let's make 10 more of those into our magic circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So that's 12 stitches total, including our original chain of 2, which counts as a stitch. Now we just need to close this magic ring up to make a little circle. So we're going to pull on our yarn tail here. Just pull on that to tighten up your magic ring. But we need to close this gap, so we're going to make a slip stitch into the second chain of our original chain right here. So insert your hook into that top chain, just like that. Grab your yarn and pull through that second loop to make a slip stitch. Now we're going to cut our yarn and move on to our white yarn to continue the circle. So now we have our first row completed, our little green section. We're going to attach this white yarn onto our green section. So just start by inserting your hook into any of these stitches along the edge. Just go through both loops, just like that. We're going to pick up our white yarn and we're going to pull up a loop like that. Then I'm just going to chain 1, and that is going to count as a stitch. So for round 2, we're going to be increasing into every stitch all the way around. So because this chain of 2 counts as a double crochet, we're only going to need to place 1 double crochet into this same space. So let's start by doing that. Yarn over, insert your hook into that space, pull up a loop, pull through 2, pull through 2 more, and there's your second double crochet. So we want to place 2 double crochets, like I said, into every one of these stitches from round 1. So we have an increase into every single stitch. So let's do that now. So we made 12 stitches in round 1. Now that we have 2 stitches placed in every space for round 2, you should have 24 stitches total, or 24 double crochets. So now we need to slip stitch to close this up and finish the round. So let's slip stitch into the top chain or the second chain that we made at the beginning of round 2. So go ahead and insert your hook into the top loop there, that second chain. Grab your yarn and pull it directly through that second loop to make a slip stitch, and that completes round 2. Now let's move on to round 3. We're going to begin by chaining 2, 1, 2, and just like before, this will count as a stitch. This will count as a 1 double crochet. So in round 3, we're going to be increasing every other stitch rather than into every single stitch. So into the first space, I'm going to make 2 double crochets. This counts as 1, so I only need 1 more. So let's make 1 double crochet into that same space. Now into this next space, I only need 1. So let's make 1 double crochet into the next space. And into the next space, I need 2 double crochets to make my increase. So place 2 double crochets both into the next space. You can see we have 2 double crochets, 1 double crochet, and 2 double crochets. So we want to repeat this all the way around until we get to the end. So you should have 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, and so on. Now that we've worked all the way back around in round 3, you should have 36 stitches total, or 36 double crochets in round 3. Now we just need to close this gap by making our slip stitch. Just like in round 2, we're going to slip stitch into the second chain. So insert your hook into the top loop there, grab your yarn and pull it directly through that second loop to make your slip stitch. And now we're going to move back onto the green yarn, so you can go ahead and cut this white yarn and weave in your yarn tails, and we will move on to round 4. Now let's attach our green yarn to the edge here. Just pick any of your stitches and insert your hook, just like we did before. Grab that green yarn and pull up a loop. We're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to double crochet 1 into that same space. There's our double crochet. Now we're going to skip this next stitch and double crochet 1 into the following stitch. So skipping this one and working into the next, double crochet 1, now we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and we're going to make one more double crochet into this same space. There's our second double crochet. So we're going to work these all the way around, and in the next row we're going to place our flowers around these open spaces here. So let's continue working. We're going to skip the next stitch and work into the following stitch. Place a double crochet into that next stitch. Chain 2. And make one more double crochet into that same space. And repeat that all. So now we've completed row 4, we just need to make our slip stitch to close it up. We're going to slip stitch into that top chain, or the 4th chain that we made in the beginning. So just insert your hook into that 4th chain at the very top and make a slip stitch. And now you can tie off your green yarn, and we're going to move on to the flowers. So now let's get started on our flowers. These are going to be worked individually into each of the chain 2 spaces that we made in the last round, like you can see here. We're not going to be working here, but here instead. So this is what it should look like when you get done. And let's get started. So I'm going to start by attaching my yarn to the chain 2 space. Any of them works, just like we did before. I'm going to make a chain with both of these strands just so it's a little bit more secure, and I'm going to chain 2, 1, 2. So now we need to make 3 puff stitches to form the body of the flower. So to make our first puff stitch, let's yarn over, insert the hook into the chain 2 space, yarn over, and pull up a loop, pull through 2, and we're going to leave that just like that. Let's yarn over again, insert the hook into the space, yarn over and pull up a loop and pull through 2, yarn over, insert the hook, yarn over and pull up a loop, and yarn over and pull through 2 more. Now we've got 4 loops on the hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through all 4 loops. So that's 1 puff stitch. We need 2 more of those. I'm just going to slide that over. So let's make our second puff stitch. Same thing, yarn over, insert the hook, yarn over and pull up a loop, pull through 2, yarn over, insert the hook, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over, insert the hook, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. So now we have 4 loops on our hook again. Let's yarn over and pull through all 4 loops, and that's going to be our second puff stitch. So one more time, let's make our last puff stitch. Just scoot those over if you need to. yarn over, insert the hook, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over, insert the hook, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over, insert the hook, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. We've got 4 loops on our hook, yarn over and pull through all 4 loops to make our last puff stitch, just like that. So we've got 3 puff stitches. Let's pull this up a little bit so it doesn't come undone, and we're going to move our hook to the second chain that we made originally, right here. So insert your hook into the top of that chain right there, the second chain, just like that. Now we're going to put this loop back on our hook, like that. Now we need to make a slip stitch to connect this all together. So let's yarn over, pull through the first loop and through that top chain there, and that's going to pull everything together to make that round body of the flower. So now let's make the top section of our flower. We're going to start by chaining 3, 1, 2, and 3, and we're going to make a slip stitch into that same space. So right there, make a slip stitch. It's a little tricky. We're going to pull directly through that loop, just like that. So now let's do that again. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to slip stitch into this next stitch right here. So insert your hook into that next stitch, grab the yarn and pull directly through that loop to make our slip stitch, just like that. Let's do it again. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and slip stitch into the next stitch, which is going to be right here. And you can see we're starting to make the little petals at the top of our flower. So let's do 2 more. I'm going to flip this over so it's a little bit easier to see. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Insert the hook into the next stitch right here. Grab the yarn and make a slip stitch. And 1 more. We're going to work this one into the back of our flower where we made our first slip stitch. So let's chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Insert your hook into that back part of the flower and make a slip stitch, just like that. Now we can tie off. I'm going to cut my yarn, and then I'm going to pull this yarn tail through the loop that I have on my hook, like that, and pull that tight. And then I'm going to pull this yarn tail through the top of my flower, like this. And now let's cut that. So that it's hidden inside the back of the flower. And that completes your flower. So we're going to continue to work these all the way around in each of our chain 2 spaces. So the next one for me would go right here, and you're going to work those in each chain 2 space all the way around and meet me back here. So now that you've completed all of your flowers all the way around in each of your chain 2 spaces, it should be looking a little bit like this. Just weave in any yarn tails you have in the back of your coaster, and you can move on to your next coaster and we will work on the basket. So to get started on our flower pot, it's going to be the same as starting our coaster. We're going to make a magic circle to get started, just like before. and we're going to chain 2. This will count as a stitch. Now we need to make 11 double crochets into our magic circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So we have 12 stitches. That includes the chain at the beginning, which counts as a stitch. Now we're going to pull our yarn tail to close up the magic circle. Pull on that. Now we want to slip stitch into that second chain at the top here to close up the round, just like we did before. Insert your hook into that second chain and make a slip stitch. And that is round 1 complete. Round 2 again is going to be just the same, but we're not going to be changing our yarn. So let's chain 2. That will count as a stitch. So we're going to be increasing into every single stitch all the way around. So we already have 1 stitch here, so we need 1 more double crochet into that same space. And now into the next space we're going to make 2 double crochets. 1, 2. And you're going to want to repeat that all the way around. Now that you've placed 2 double crochets into every stitch all the way around, you should have 24 double crochets in total. That includes our chain 2 at the beginning. Now we're going to make our slip stitch into that top chain. So into that second chain, insert your hook and make a slip stitch to finish the round. Now let's start round 3. Chain 2. This will count as a stitch. So we need to make 1 increase into the first space, 1 double crochet into the next space, 1 increase into the next space, and 1 double crochet into the next space. So let's make 1 double crochet into this first space, the same space as our chain. So we have 2 stitches in that first space, which makes an increase. So we're going to place 1 double crochet into the next space. And we need to make 2 double crochets into the next. So we're going to repeat that just like before all the way around. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and so on all the way around. Now that you've finished round 3, let's make our slip stitch to close this gap. Just like before, into that top chain, that second chain, insert your hook, and we're going to make a slip stitch. And now we can start round 4 by chaining 2. This will again count as a stitch, and we're going to make an increase into our first stitch, a single stitch, a single stitch, and an increase, a single stitch, a single stitch, and an increase. So in round 2 we had an increase into every single stitch. In round 3 we're going to have an increase every other stitch, and in round 4 we're going to have an increase every 2 stitches. So let's make another double crochet into this first space, 1 double crochet into each of the next 2 spaces, and an increase or 2 double crochets into the following space here. And now we're going to make 1 double crochet into each of these next 2 spaces. Now we're going to make another increase, 2 double crochets into this next space. And you're going to want to repeat that all the way around. 2 stitches, 1 stitch, 1 stitch, 2 stitches, 1 stitch, 1 stitch, 2 stitches, all the way around. Now let's make our slip stitch to finish round 4. Go into that second chain, make a slip stitch to close up the round. And now that completes the base of our basket. We're going to start working upward. So to start round 5, let's make 2 chains. And for round 5, this is not going to count as a stitch. So we're going to make 1 double crochet into each stitch all the way around, but we're only going to be working into the back loops. So let's make our first double crochet into this same space, only into that back loop. So insert your hook under that back loop and make your double crochet. Make another double crochet, go into that back loop in the next space. And you're just going to repeat that all the way around into each space. So now you can see that we're starting to work upward with our basket. Now we just need to make our slip stitch. And this time we're going to skip our chain and work directly into the first actual stitch because our chain did not count as a stitch this time. So let's go into that first stitch and make our slip stitch to finish up round 5. And let's start round 6 by chaining 2. This will not count as a stitch. So let's place 1 double crochet into each stitch all the way around. This time we're going to be working into both loops and not just the back loop. So we're going to put 1 double crochet into the same space as our chain. And then 1 double crochet into each of the following spaces. And I will meet you back here. So now we've finished row 6, let's make our slip stitch. Remember, we're not going to be going into this chain, but into the first actual stitch. So insert your hook and make a slip stitch. Now for the next few rows until row 9, we're going to be repeating row 6, exactly the same as we just did, working up until row 9, and I will meet you right back here. So I went ahead and stopped at row 8, but if you would like your basket to be a little bit taller, go ahead and do row 9. But I'm going to go ahead and cut my yarn. And weave in this little yarn tail here. Pull that through and tighten it. So to put my coasters in my basket, I'm going to fold the first one in half like that. And I'm just going to put it on one side of the basket. Then I'm going to do the second one, fold it in half, and put that on the other side. And the last coaster I'm going to fold in half, and then I'm going to fold it in half again, and I'm going to put that right in the middle here, just like that. You could just fluff it up a little bit and make it look the way that you like. And there you go. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.